that they call the Apocrypha. The final objection, number 6, says the Apocrypha teaches us to pray for the dead. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 12, verses 39 to 45. That's 2 Maccabees chapter 12, verses 39 to 45. And it reads thus. And upon the day following, as the use had been, Judas and his company came to take up the bodies of them that were slain, and to bury them with their kinsmen in their fathers' graves. Now under the corpse of everyone that was slain, they found things consecrated to the idols of the Jannites, which is forbidden the Jews by the law. So when they came to take the dead bodies of these people who were killed by their enemies, they noticed that under the coat of each of them was some kind of amulet that was consecrated to the idols of the Jannites. That these people were in idolatry. It continues. Then every man saw that this was the cause wherefore they were slain. The Most High allowed them to be put to death, literal death. They were killed because of the idolatry. All men therefore praising the Most High, the righteous judge who had opened the things that were hid, betook themselves to prayer. So Judas and all his men started to pray and besought him that the sin committed might wholly be put out of remembrance. They're praying that the Most High would forgive the sins of these dead people, literally dead. Besides, that noble Judas exhorted the people to keep themselves from sin. So he told them, learn from this example, stay away from sin. For so much as they saw before their eyes the things that came to pass, for the sins of those that were slain. It's because of the idolatry that those people were put to death. So Judas used the opportunity to encourage those who were living to stay away from sin, because sin leads to death. Verse 43.
Oh, y'all hear that?
And when he had made a gathering throughout the company to the sum of 2,000 drachms of silver, he sent it to Jerusalem to offer a sin offering, doing therein very well and honestly, in that he was mindful of the resurrection. So he collected some money and sent it to Jerusalem for a sin offering on behalf of these dead people. It says, doing therein very well and honestly, meaning he was honestly doing what he thought was the right thing to do, in that he was mindful of the resurrection. He was hoping that the Most High would accept the praise for the dead, that he would pardon these people for the idolatry, and that they would be allowed to partake in the resurrection. Verse 44. For if he had not hoped that they that were slain should have risen again, it had been superfluous and vain to pray for the dead. Judas had a genuine hope that these people would rise again, and for the reason he prayed for the Most High to forgive their sin even after they were dead. And also in that he perceived that there was great favor laid up for those that died godly. It was an holy and good thought. Again, he was doing what he thought was right. As it pertains to those who died godly, it was indeed a holy and good thought. But these people didn't die godly, they died in idolatry.
Thank you.
And he hoped that the Most High would forgive these sins. Whereupon he made a reconciliation.
Okay, let's prove that there is a resurrection, because people don't believe that. It's in Daniel 12 again. Daniel 12. There is a full resurrection. And also, if you read in Amos 5, there is a full resurrection. But in Daniel 12, let's read it. So y'all won't be saying, blasphemy. Ah! No, there is a resurrection that is going to happen of the people from the grave. This is in Daniel 12, This is in Daniel 12. I've already had it highlighted because I've read it many times before. This is Daniel 12. Daniel 12. Right there, if you can see it. It's probably blurry, but I'll show you right there. There's a Daniel 12. There is a resurrection. It is spoken about in Daniel 12. At that time, Michael will stand, the great heavenly prince who is in support, who is assigned. He's assigned to the members of the people of the Israelites. He's assigned to Israel. And there will be a time of trouble that there has never been since such that Israel was a nation until this time. But at that time, your people Israel will escape. Everything that is found written in this book will occur. Many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth of their grave will awaken. That's the resurrection. And some of these people will awaken to everlasting life. Those people he's talking about that are righteous, who followed the law and was not wicked. And then some of these people will arise for shame to everlasting abhorrence. So people, there's everlasting life on both sides. Everlasting abhorrence or everlasting life living with Abba. Yes, your choice. And it's also a reward for the wise and for the teachers in Daniel 12. The wise will shine like the radiance of the firmament. And who are the wise? The people who follow the law, statutes, commandments. You can find that in Psalms 19. And those who teach righteousness, those who teach it to the multitude will shine like the stars forever and ever. We will receive everlasting life. Those who teach the righteousness, who teach love, it's underlined right there. Those who teach will receive everlasting life. You will live forever. Those who teach it. The wise and the people who are righteous will get it. However, those who do not will resurrect to abhorrence.
For the dead, that they might be delivered from sin. Notice the words hope and might. Judas does not have assurance that these people
Hallelujah.
will
Right,
be delivered from their sin, or that these people will be resurrected. It's a hope that he has that they might be delivered.
Get up here and lay down because you
because of his prayers for them.
Get on up here.
So in this passage, Judas and his men prayed for the literally dead, not the spiritually dead. These were idolaters who had been killed by the enemy. Yet Judas hoped that as a result of his prayer and the giving of a sin offering, the Most High might forgive these people.
I feel so much lighter and fresher. Wash your hands after, you filthy hooligan. Wow, it smells like paradise in there. Dr. Squash crosses even the filthiest odors, naturally.
Kane puts the dying in dynasty, the young in triumphant.
Judas tried to atone for the sins of these dead people, even though the Most High never requested prayer.
When I was talking about the resurrection, he's not talking about of your body. He's talking about of your soul. When we stand in the valley of Jehoshaphat, it is not bodies. It is souls that will be standing there, that will get judgment. Not our bodies. Our bodies are temporary. When you die, we go back to dust. So if you cremate somebody, which we're not supposed to do. We're not supposed to do that. But if somebody did get cremated, because remember, some people have burned in the fire by accident. They've died in the fire by accident. That's cremation. So it wasn't done on purpose. It was in the fire and they died in the fire. It is not what's coming back on Judgment Day. It's not a body. It is your soul. These bodies are temporary. They're flawed. It says here, those who lay in the dust. We're going to go, when you die, you go back to dust. Now, the only reason people are going back to dust now is because they're putting formaldehyde in them. But if they die and they were done the way they were back in the day, only thing you will find in their grave is bones. You'll find some bones, you'll find some hair, you probably find some toenails or something like that. But you ain't gonna find no body. You ain't gonna find no organs. So that is what's going on with that. What will be resurrected will be souls. Thank you for that question. That is a good question. That is a awesome question. But yeah, my research is only souls that will be resurrected. Because think about when Saul asked that witch to call Samuel. He saw Samuel for what he looked like, but he called Samuel's soul, not Samuel's body. You see what I'm saying? He saw Samuel's body. He saw Samuel's soul, not Samuel's body. He told him he was wrong for doing that, and the Most High y'all gonna get his ass. So there you go. You were doing necromancy. You cannot do that. You cannot talk to. You're not supposed to be calling the dead back and talking to them.
No offerings for the dead. However, while this passage tells us what was done, it does not encourage us to do the same. And this is not evidence that the Apocrypha is not scripture. There are multiple instances in the Old Testament where people did things that they thought were right, even though they were wrong. The scriptures inform us of what they did, but this does not mean we must follow the example. Let's consider a few examples in the quote-unquote Old Testament so I can prove this point. Judges chapter 17, verses 1 to 6. This is Judges chapter 17, verses 1 to 6. And it says, "And there was a man of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Micaiah. And he said to his mother, The 1100 pieces of silver which thou tookest to thyself, and about which thou cursest me, and spokest in my ears, behold, the silver is with me. I took it." So his mom had cursed him for taking her money, and now he's admitted, you know what, I took the money. And his mother said, "Blessed be my son of the Most High." And he restored the 1100 pieces of silver to his mother. So he gave her the money that he had stolen. And his mother said, "I had wholly consecrated the money to the Most High. I had wholly consecrated the money to the Most High out of my hand for my son." For what reason? To make a graven and a molten image. This woman wanted to make an idol for the Most High. "And now I will restore it to thee." But he returned the silver to his mother, and his mother took 200 pieces of silver and gave them to a silversmith, and he made it a graven and a molten image, and it was in the house of Micaiah. So they made an idol, a graven image to the Most High. She thought that because she was doing it for the Most High, it was right.
And it's not.
But we should know that idolatry is wrong. The Most High never asked us to make these images to him.
He told us not to
Verse
do it.
5, and the house of Micaiah was to him the house of God, meaning the house of the Most High. And he made an ephod and teraphim, and he consecrated one of his sons, and he became to him a priest. And in those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. The woman thought it was right to make a graven image to the Most High. Micaiah thought it was right to make his house the house of the Most High. And he thought it was right to make one of his sons a priest.
And you cannot do that.
Nevertheless, all of this was wrong.
Now, he's right. You cannot do that. Abba is the one choose where his house is. Abba is the one who chose who the priests are. Abba is the one. Abba, you don't get to do that. You don't get to make an ephod. You don't get to make anything unless Abba tells you to do it. And who is in charge of those things? Who is in charge of those things? Levites. You cannot teach if you're not a Levite. I'm a Levite. That's why I'm allowed to teach. I am a bloodline Levite. I can prove it with my grandmother. Their name, their middle name, they all are Levi. They're either Levi or Levi. I'm a bloodline Levite. Abba showed me this. So, because I was scared to teach when he first called me to teach. I didn't ask to teach. He called me to teach. I fought against it because I thought I was doing something wrong at first. I was like, oh, I don't want to do that because only the Levites supposed to teach and I don't want to get in trouble. So he went back and showed to me that my grandmother's side, they were full-blooded Levi. And on my dad's side, he showed me that they are Ephraim. So he was like, you can teach. So I had, then the fear went off of me because he knew I didn't want to do anything against him. And then he showed me in there that Miriam and Deborah and other daughters of Zion could teach, because that's the other fear that I had too, that the daughters could not teach. He's like, they're lying. And he showed me in Jeremiah 31 that we will be teaching in the kingdom. But y'all ain't read that. They don't read that part. And I even saw one guy who did read it, call it a curse. Abba didn't say that was a curse. Abba said that was a good thing, that the daughters of Zion will be teaching. He even teaches us to teach everybody a new dirge. What is a dirge? Did you hear that confirmation? What is a dirge? Dirge is a prayer. Dirge is a prayer. Teaching. He told the daughters of Zion, go teach everybody a new prayer. But y'all ain't reading it. Y'all ain't not getting this book. Y'all listening to Paul and not listening to what the Most High Yah said. The Most High Yah said, I will do a new things. I will have the daughters of Zion teach. That is not out of the mouth of man. That's out of the mouth of the Creator Yah. Let me get it and read it in full context so y'all won't say I'm paraphrasing. And I will read it from your book and my book. Your book and my book. And y'all, I was scared to do this at first. Y'all, I was afraid to. The Most High had to show me over and over again, I am calling you. I anointed you to call. Do y'all know that the Most High y'all had somebody anoint me? And I didn't know that's what they were doing. I was like, remember when I had that guy come and put that oil on your forehead? And that guy does not know he's an Israelite, but he went and got some oil and he put it on my forehead. And I was like, oh, that's what that was? Because I was actually finna run from the guy. I was like, don't you put your, I was finna run from him. He's like, no, let him do it. I sent him to do that for you. And it's the only time that's ever happened to me. Nobody's never anointed me before with oil. Let me go to where that is. Oh, I think it's Jeremiah 31. So y'all won't say I'm over here trying to commit some type of thing because I just want to teach. No, Abba called me to teach, and I'm doing what Abba told me to do. It starts at Jeremiah 31. In my book, I'm gonna start at 17. I have indeed heard Ephraim moaning. You have chastised me, and I have become chastised. Like an untrained calf, bring me back to you, the Most High Yah, and I shall return. For you are the Most High Yah, my God. For after my returning, I regret it after my being made aware of my sinful nations. When he wakes us up and we are aware of our sinful nature, we regret it. Don't you regret following the other nations? I did. I cried my eyes out, y'all. The nastiest, ugliest cry you ever saw when I realized I was in idolatry. I slapped my thigh in anguish. I was ashamed and also humiliated, but I never hid it. I never hid that I made those mistakes. I will never hide it because I can admit that I was wrong. And now I'm doing it the way Abba told us to do. For I bore the disgrace of my youth. Shelley said, yes, I was so mad. Is Ephraim my favorite son, a delighted child? Do y'all see that? The Most High loves Ephraim. And if you go into Genesis in my book and go read at the death of Jacob, he prophesied that the Most High Yah will use Ephraim to save everybody. And then you go into Obadiah, you will see that Ephraim saved. How is Ephraim saving? Because we are going to be the first ones to turn back to Yah only. That's why when y'all keep thinking you're Judah, you're not. You may have been near the tribe of Judah, but you are not the tribe of Judah. You were a Ephraimite living in Judah. And I proved to you that scripture that Ephraim, there was a town called Bethlehem, the town of the Ephraimites. Did you hear that? That's sound confirmation. Those were Ephraim's and those were Levites living in the town of Judah, but they were not bloodline Judaites. They're bloodline Ephraimites and bloodline Levites. I am a Levite and I'm an Ephraimite. Abba showed me. And so are you all. Y'all think you're Judah. You're not Judah. You came from the northern nation. No, which one? Judah was southern? You came from the southern nation of Judah because you lived there, but you were not bloodline Judah. Remember, the Levites lived in every tribe. Levites lived through all 12 tribes across the world. We lived in the entire world. We didn't have a specific place to live. Levites lived everywhere. And remember, The Most High showed you that the Melchizedek line of Zodok were mixed of Levites and Ephraim. So you think that you're of Judah, or you may came from Gad, or you may think you came from Daniel, or Dan, the tribe of Dan. You may think you came from the tribe of this, but you're not. You're actually Ephraim and Levi mixed. And Abba just gave you a sound confirmation that I'm telling you the truth, what he showed me. Bishop, lay down. I just took you outside. You're not going back out there. So lay your little butt down somewhere. You want to go out there and sniff. Now, let's keep reading. He says, so Ephraim, my beloved, my favorite son. He said, Ephraim is my favorite son. A delightful child that whenever I speak of him, I remember him more and more. Therefore, my inner self yearns for him. I will surely take pity on him. These are the words of the Most High Yah. Make a road markers for yourselves. Set up landmarks for yourselves. Set the thoughts of your heart upon the road, the route of that you walk. Return. Now, who was he just got through talking about? Ephraim. Return. Then he says, return, O maidens of Israel. Ephraim. Return to the cities of yours. How long will you slip away, O wayward daughters of Zion? For the Most High Yah has created something new in the world, that the women will court the men back to the Most High Yah. When he showed me this, I was like, oh, when Ephraim wakes up and starts crying out, when Ephraim wakes up and realizes that they were in sin, when Ephraim wakes up, he will pity them. And then we will start making start making your route back to the cities from which you came from. And then go back and start going out and court your men back to me. Daughters of Zion, the teachers, the only ones who could be teachers are Levites. And the only ones, he said, are in the Melchizedek line, of the Zodok line, or Ephraim and Levites mixed together. These are the only ones. This is what Abba showed me through precepts. So you guys who are out there who are going against us teaching, you are going against what Abba said. He said, this is a new thing in the world. He said, in the world. The women will court the men. And I saw a guy said this was a curse. How is this a curse? How is this a curse? Because the daughters of Zion with the sons of Jerusalem together, we're walking through. Y'all heard that sound confirmation again? They just flew off the top of the thing over there. That's the second time that didn't happen. That's Michael. That's Angel. That's an angel in here letting you know I'm telling the truth. So my cat is not over there. My cat is laying right here. My dog laying behind me. Some just flew off the thing again, down onto the ground. To let me know that's a pure sound confirmation that I am telling you the truth of what Abba showed me. This is not what I came up with. Abba showed me, come look at these precepts, daughter. I am the one who called you. I called you. I called Shelly. I called Earth. I called Abba Yah. I called Melissa Israel. I called Mr. Real Talk. I called David. And I called Joshua. I called Stephen. And he told me he also called Linus. But Linus is being attacked like crazy right now. And then you like, wait a minute, I thought it was 7 of us. He said, some of you are twin souls. You're twin souls. Who the twin souls are, I don't know. Who the twin souls are, that's none of my business to say that. I can tell you, in the midst of us, we have, do you want me to tell Abba or do you want me to keep my mouth shut? The only one he wants me to tell, in the midst of us, he wants me to tell you that the only one he's telling me I can allow to say is Elijah. The one who's in the midst of us but Elijah is not the only one that returned. In the midst of us, Elijah is in the midst of us, the people I just mentioned. But the rest of the people that he brought back, I cannot say who they are. I want to say so bad, but he said, I can only tell you about Elijah because we can prove that Elijah will be sent back because it's in Malachi. But the other ones, I know who y'all are, but I cannot say it because it's not written. So let's keep reading. Now, the Most High Yah said, thus says the Most High Yah, the master of legions, the God of Israel. People will again say this thing in the land of Judah and its city when I return their captive. He said again. He said again. He said again. That means we were teaching before. Remember, in Micah, he said, I sent you Moses, I sent you Aaron, and I sent you Miriam. They always talk about the negative part of Miriam, but they don't never talk about all the other stuff Miriam did that was positive. She went in the temple before the Most High Yah and sang songs. She taught them songs to sing. Miriam taught them songs to sing, dirges, prayers. They don't talk about that part. They only talk about when she got in trouble. But we all got in trouble. Moses got in trouble. Aaron got in trouble. This is why Moses didn't make it into the kingdom. Because he got in trouble. But they need to leave that part out and keep reminding you how Miriam got in trouble. They all got in trouble. Aaron got in trouble too for making that calf. They keep leaving all those parts out that we all got in trouble. But if you go and read Samuel 8, you will find out that no man will be perfect. The only one who will be perfect is the Most High Yah. That we all will fall short. Why? Because the only one that will be perfect is the Most High Yah. We all mess up, but they repented of their sins, just like David repented, just like Solomon repented. Solomon says, all of this wisdom that I received, all of this wisdom that I received, and it did me no good. He lets you know I fucked up. And he repented of what he did.
Want to fold? Go half speed. The KitchenAid fold lifts stand.